Committee meeting, the regular meeting of June 23rd, 2021. At this time, I will ask, see what are we going? We have called to order. And first up, let's stand up, if you don't mind joining me, doing the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. May we have roll call, please?
Chairman Taylor.
Here.
Vice Chairman Shahaya.
Here.
Member Smith Rodriguez.
Here.
Member Van Deven.
Here.
Member Wheelis.
Here.
Very good. We have a full quorum, so we're ready to go tonight. First up is the approval for the minutes of our May 26, 2021 meeting. How about that? Only last month. Remember that, right? Were there any corrections or additions that anyone noticed that needed to make to the minutes?
I saw none. None?
All right. May I have a motion then to approve?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And none. So that is gone. And now we'll read a little notice here for everyone. Tonight's meeting, all persons who anticipate speaking on any public hearing item must fill out an oath card to be heard on that agenda item and sign the oath contained thereon. These cards are located on a table near the entrance to the council chamber or may be obtained from the recording secretary. This meeting will be conducted in accordance with procedures adopted in resolution number 24-1997. Those speaking in favor of a request will be heard first. Those opposed will be heard second, and those who wish to make a public comment on an item will speak third. The applicant may make a brief rebuttal if necessary. A representative for either side, for or against, may cross-examine a witness. Anyone who speaks is considered a witness. If you have photographs, sketches, or documents that you desire for the commission to consider, they must be admitted into evidence and will be retained by the city. Please submit such exhibits to the recording secretary. Staff, have the two agenda items on tonight's agenda been properly advertised?
Yes.
Okay. Are they both still active?
Yes.
Okay. None withdrawn tonight. Good. Have there been any members on the stage here that have spoken to or visited the sites or have any knowledge of the sites that would affect your ruling tonight?
No.
No.
Okay, I see none. We have no consent agenda or old business, so we will go to new business. And the first item up is variance number 10-2021 with the address of 6225 Riverfront Center Boulevard and a wall sign. So staff, would you please enlighten us?
Sure. So this item begins on page 23 of the agenda. Did you guys get a second? So the applicant, Ryan Gasparovic, is requesting a variance to Land Development Regulations Section 32-45, Planned Industrial Development, to allow a wall sign to be larger than the maximum 32 square feet on property located in the Planned Industrial Development Zoning District, located at 6225 Riverfront Center Boulevard. The surrounding zoning districts are to the north, Columbia Boulevard and Regional Mixed Use. To the south, Planned Industrial Development. To the east, Open Space and Recreation and federally owned property. And to the west, Vector Space Boulevard and Planned Industrial Development. The property does meet the minimum size and width requirement in the PID zoning district. The lot size is over 11 acres in size and rectangular in shape with 490 linear feet of frontage on Riverfront Center Boulevard and is a commercial use. So Section 34-226 states the criteria used when determining a variance. I will briefly go over them. A, special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which are not applicable to other land, structures, or building in the same zoning. B, special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. C, granting the variance requested will not confer upon the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the ordinance to other lands, buildings, or structures in the same zoning district. D, the literal interpretation of the provisions of the ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of the ordinance. E, the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure. F, the granting of the variance will preserve the spirit of the ordinance and remain in harmony with its general purpose and intent. G, in granting the variance, the public safety and welfare must be assured. And H, and in no case shall the granting of variance result in a change of use, which would not be permitted in that zoning. So the applicant is requesting a variance to allow a wall sign larger than the maximum 32 square feet permitted. Section 32-45A3B of the code states that said sign shall not be larger than 32 square feet. The applicant stated to the staff that because the proposed building will be set off a distance from the road, a 32 square foot sign will be difficult to view from the right of way, and the proposed sign at the requested size will add to the architecture of the building. The applicant also says that the individual alterations to the star icon within the Lockheed Martin logo are not within the company's branding guidelines. The sign is reverse illuminated and creates a halo illumination on the wall at night. Staff has estimated that the applicant's proposed sign measures 107 square feet. So that sign would account for 17.8% of the total surface area to the wall that it is affixed to, while the required 32 square feet would account for 5.3% of that wall. There is a distance of 152 feet from the right-of-way to the location of the proposed sign. Signs on the building that surround the site are similar, being that they measure larger than the 32 square feet. So staff recommends to approve the variance to allow a sign greater than the maximum 32 square feet in the PID zoning district as depicted on the application. In granting the variance, the public safety and welfare can be ensured as the sign, according to the applicant, is reverse illuminated, creating that halo illumination and not overly bright with letters and the icons. The variance is the minimum necessary that will make possible the reasonable use of the building, as the building is multiple stories and a larger wall sign will be more visible from the right-of-way.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions of staff on this request?
I do.
Go ahead.
Do the buildings in the area also have signage? I understand greater than 32 square feet that are roughly in that 17% coverage.
There is no, as far as the percentage coverage, we don't have that number, but the signs are greater than that 32 square feet.
So we don't really have a picture of the sign itself other than just this. I guess I'm on page 24. Oh, there it is. That's proposed view. That's imposed up on that side of the building there. Okay. It is a long way from the road, though, isn't it? It would be. It'd be hard to see from the road if it was just the regular size. Okay. All right. Any other questions from anyone? No? Then we will open it up. Oh, you have a question, sir?
Through the chair.
Yeah.
Previously, we approved an enlarged sign for a hotel in the same rough area. Is it in the PID also?
I want to say that it is. I don't want to say for sure, but I'm pretty sure that for the it's evading me. I didn't do that one, but I'm pretty sure that was in the PID as well.
We don't remember the details on the variance specifically.
This was for the hotel, you said?
I believe it was, yes.
I can look that up, but I'm pretty sure that was in the PID
We
as well.
certainly didn't approve anything over 20%.
I wouldn't have the numbers on that. I didn't do that variance.
Are there any other questions? Well, seeing none, we'll open up for a public hearing at this time. Do we have anyone signed up to talk?
Yes, sir. Ryan, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the, okay.
Well, come on up, sir, and please give us your name and address for the record. Welcome.
Is it on? My name is Ryan Gasparovic with Lockheed Martin. Address, I'm representing 6225 Riverfront Center Boulevard. We recently acquired the property and invested a large amount of money to renovate it, the old Astronaut Hall of Fame. We do believe that if we had a 32 square foot sign, it would be very small, as far away from the road as it is. And if you can, I'm not sure what page it's on in the application, but the logo itself, when it takes into account the points of the star, most of that 100 plus square footage that this is taking up is dead space. The letters in the proposal are only 13.5 inches tall. So we do feel like if it was any smaller than this, it would be very difficult to see from that from the road, and 32 would certainly be not worth it. So I believe that the hotel you're asking about is the Hyatt, which is in the same PID. That's just to answer that question. I don't know the numbers on the variance, but it's the Hyatt. You have any questions for me?
Just a question about the lettering. The lettering itself is, you're saying it's less than 36? Is that?
It's 13.5 inches tall, the letters.
That's it. And the square footage is what? Do you know?
The square footage with the whole entire logo is 110 or 107? 107, yeah. But our logo is not permitted to be displayed without the star.
Yeah. But the star could be painted, I mean, if it's painted on the wall, it's the same thing, right?
Oh, you're saying I could adhere a logo to the building that's not a three-dimensional sign?
Yeah.
If we had to, that's
Okay, thanks.
what we would do, yes.
Does there anyone else have a question? Well, you got off easy, it looks like.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else signed up to speak?
Mr. Mandernack?
All right.
David Mandernack, 2645/Pine Court. Just to provide some maybe helpful context, I wasn't prepared to see. That's our resident. That sign is that thing's PID.
Just wait till you get that.
That sign is also in the industrial park, and we process satellites in that building. In this building, which used to be the Astronaut Hall of Fame, Lockheed is going to process also spacecraft in there. So having a sign that calls attention in the city of Titusville of some of the things that are being done in Titusville from the road, so it's clear, would be, I think, a very helpful thing for the community. And it isn't necessarily the last of these kind of structures that will go up that might require some signage that take into account the size of the building. This is not a small building by any means, and so having a sign that's proportional to the size of the building from the road would be helpful in identifying what's being done in there. That's all I have.
Are there any questions for this witness? I don't see any. Thank you. Do we have any other cards?
No, sir.
All right.
I have an answer to the prior question from Member Wheelis regarding variance number 9-2019 Hyatt Place. Is that what you're asking about?
Yes.
The variance request was approved to allow 2 wall signs in lieu of 1 wall sign, and There's a second, that was as to the first section 32-45A3A. The second variance request was approved with conditions, 32-45A3B. That was as to the size. The applicant requested a variance to allow two signs to be 175.5 square feet each, and the variance request was approved to allow a 107 square foot sign as proposed by the applicant, with the condition that the sign is tied to the proposed application and will be tied to the size of the building that is being proposed to be approximately 72,000 square feet. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
All right. Well, there's no other cards to speak. We'll close the public hearing at this time and bring it back to the commission. Are there any other further questions of staff? Or any comments from the commission? I personally agree that that size building and that far away from the road would be of little use to have a sign up there. Nobody would see it.
In looking at the ordinance, it was certainly difficult to write in proportionality from the size of the building and the setback to the minimum square footage allowed for a sign. And that's what we keep running into. So that's maybe something that we can address later on with staff. But this is something that we're going to be dealing with as these larger buildings come in and they're restricted to 32 square feet. That's
Any other comments? Well, do I have a motion on this particular item, please?
I'll move to approve variance 10-2021, variance to section 32-45, to permit a sign greater than 32 square feet, but specifically permit the sign as reflected on page 24 of the packet. I don't know technically what page it is of the application, which indicates 107 square foot sign, specifically with lettering at 13.6 inches high, plus the star.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. May we have roll call, please?
Chairman Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Shahayam?
Yes.
Member Smith Rodriguez?
Yes.
Member Van Deven?
Yes.
Member Willis?
yes.
Very good. So the motion is passed. Thank you. All right. Now for our second order of business for tonight, we have variance 11-2021, which concerns 335 Garden Street sign setback. So staff, would you enlighten us, please?
All right, so let's see. Give me 1 second. This item begins on page 29 of the agenda. And the applicant, Shanna Brogan, is requesting a variance to Land Development Regulations Section 32-9, ground sign regulations, to allow less than the required minimum 10-foot setback for a ground sign on property located in the neighborhood commercial zoning district, located at 3350 South Garden Street. Surrounding zoning districts are to the north, single-family medium density, to the south, Garden Street and property zone multifamily high density, to the east, regional commercial, and to the west, office professional. The property meets the minimum lot width requirement in the NC zoning district. It measures 0.19 acres in size, which is less than the minimum 10,000 square feet required in that zoning district, with 110 linear feet of frontage. 110 plus linear feet of frontage on Garden Street. The lot is trapezoidal in shape. Currently, the property is a vacant commercial building. I've already went over the powers of the VA, so I'll move ahead to the analysis. The applicant is requesting a variance to the required ground sign regulations to allow less than the required minimum 10-foot setback from the property line for a ground sign. Section 32-9F1 of the code states that ground signs shall be set back a minimum of 10 feet from all property lines in a landscape area, at least equal in square footage of said sign. Setback shall be measured from the leading edge of the sign. In the NC zoning district, a 25-foot front yard setback is required for all lots. The existing property has paved concrete from the parking and ingress and egress from the property line to the building line, which hinders the applicant's ability to incorporate a ground sign to be set back a minimum of 10 feet within the landscape area. The proposed sign is to be placed within a landscape strip on the eastern edge of the property. The property was platted in 1959 as part of the Gardendale Unit 1 plat. The lot is non-conforming to the development standards of the code in relation to necessary landscape buffers and signage. The size of the lot does not meet the minimum lot area requirements designated in the NC zoning district. And the size of the lot is 8,276 square feet, and the minimum lot size required per the NC zoning district is 10,000 square feet. So staff recommends to approve the variance to allow a sign to be located less than the minimum 10-foot setback required as illustrated on the application. The lot is non-conforming and does not meet the size requirement in the NC zoning district. The property includes concrete from the property line to the building line, and the landscape area requested for the sign placement does not meet all the setback requirements. In addition, the existing configurations of the lot being on an arched right-of-way makes the sign placement at the proposed location more visible. The granting of the variance will preserve the spirit of the ordinance, as the location of the proposed sign will not serve as a detriment to surrounding commercial and residential properties. And that completes my presentation.
Okay, then looking at our drawing, I'm on page 35. I'm assuming that red spot down in the bottom is the choice of placement for the sign.
The planted median. And the dark, yes, the bold.
Well,
I'm
We're-
Shauna Brogan.
well, we're not having a public hearing just yet. We're asking staff. I'm sorry.
Yes, that is the placement of the proposed sign,
Okay,
the red shaded area.
and that right now is just an open kind of driveway, if I remember correctly.
So it's the area. It's a bit of it's a strip of landscaping, so to say.
Yes, okay. All right. Any other questions for staff?
Just point of clarification. The lot was platted in 1959. It originally was a residential structure, a single-family residential structure. Is that correct?
I don't have an answer to that,
Yeah.
but I can find out and let you know.
As the former building official, I can relay that information that yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just for clarification, that's so what you have is a residential lot that's been redesigned for commercial purposes, and we're trying to make these things work on it. So that's our challenge.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So how much of a variance is requested?
Less than the 10-foot, obviously. Give me 1 second. That number was never presented in the application. What was presented was the less than the 10-foot.
Okay, I'll ask the applicant.
Okay. Seeing no other questions, we'll go ahead and open up to the public. And our first card, please.
I do not have one for Ms. Brogan, and she'll need to fill one out, okay?
You can fill it out after you speak. That's fine.
If you would give us your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Shauna Brogan, 7205 Walty Drive, Melbourne, 32940. Hi. We're asking for a 5 foot. It's on the page. This is better. The one where we show, we're only asking for a 5 foot in the back. So it would be 5 foot from the 10 foot. Please, sorry. Do I go?
You can
Oh.
keep going if you have other things
Yeah,
to say.
please.
Oh, no,
This is your
that-
opportunity.
We just have no other place to, it's all concrete over there. So there's no other place. And Mr. Williams, Dr. Williams, he bought a little piece of the property from the neighbor and it didn't work. So we tried our hardest to get it in there. But there's really no other place to put one.
Okay, so really, it's because the sign's at a little bit of an angle. It's meeting 5 feet on the back side. Is that correct? Because I'm
Yes.
seeing 10 foot from the front, but only 5.
We meet the 10 foot. It's just the back there where it says the 5 foot. That's where we're.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but code says it's supposed to be 10.
Yes, sir.
So that would put the sign out of alignment with the road.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is perpendicular with the road. Okay. Are there other questions you might have for this applicant? Well, you got off real easy. Unless you have something else you wish to present.
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank
I'm
you.
sorry for not being prepared, though. I apologize.
If you don't mind, I do have a question.
Oh, you have for her?
Yes.
All right, yes.
The sign is electric.
Yes, sir.
It's on a concrete base.
No, it's
It's on
with an EMC display.
sorry, it's on a pole base or a concrete solid base?
It looks like this, sir. May I come up?
Sure,
Okay. There's not a line in between it.
I see. Okay,
For the MedFast, urgent care.
got it.
Do I pass it around?
Yeah, you just show it to us and then you can turn the copy to the recording secretary.
Thank you.
Was that electric?
Yes.
I'll wait till you get back to the desk. If you don't mind, I didn't see that in our package. If you'll turn that in to the recording secretary at the end, please.
Yes, sir.
So that is an electronic sign at the bottom. It'll change words and stuff
Yes,
about
yes.
hours open, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
EMC, yes, and we have to follow by the code restrictions of the display minimum, which we will, of
Okay.
course.
All right. Any further questions?
I
Yes, ma'am.
have one question. There's a sidewalk in front of the building and on the side of the building.
I'm not sure on the side. I haven't personally been there, but I know it's on the front. I'm pretty,
So that's where the sign is going to go, in the front,
it's on the side
on
here.
the side. Okay.
Yes, on the little site plan it shows.
So it's not actually on Garden Street. It's the street.
This one can show, you want to see it?
Yeah,
Because this
please.
one's Garden Street, this one.
I think I have it. Okay. Okay. All righty.
It's more clear.
One other question. The entrance to this urgent care, is it in the front of the building or is it on the side where the sign is?
It's over here on this side,
Okay,
so it's
Alrighty.
away from the sign.
thank you.
So no direct access to Garden Street. It'll be off the side street.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Just one question. You have, there's a 20 feet on the east side, on the southeast corner of that property. There's 20 feet that jogs out. That gives you, most likely, that should give you a little bit more room there too. You know, the setback from the east property line.
I would have to discuss, because I was told it's nothing but concrete over
I
here.
know, but you have the property line. If you look at that southeast corner, the property line jogs out
To
a little
the,
bit further east.
but the planter base, something about the planter, there's a little
Yeah,
planter.
the planner doesn't, the setback is from the property line.
Yes, sir.
So you have more than 5 feet, really.
Okay.
To follow up on that, is that the little piece of property that you mentioned that was purchased in addition to the main property?
Yes,
That
yes.
tiny little nook on there?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the exact verbiage on that conversation, but Mr. Williams just sent an email saying, I guess we have to go through variance, so.
Again, you mentioned something
Sure.
about the access to the property. Where is the access to the property? The people, how do they go back to the parking spaces?
There's also access directly off of Garden Street.
And he's going to do renovations, I'm
This
sure.
is going to be an emergency clinic or?
It's a MedFast urgent care? Yes, sir.
Not emergency,
Not emergent.
Urgent care.
clinic type deal. Okay. Are there any other questions? I see no other lights. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And we have no other cards to speak?
Yes, sir. Clint Curtis?
Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Hi, everybody. Clint Curtis, 416 Dahlia, occupation attorney. I came because I was worried it might be actually on the corner of Dahlia and Garden. And that's a busy area, probably twice a month. You know, cars are screeching because they're about to hit each other because they're zooming around the corner, picking up speed. But if it's over in the grass, I don't care. You know, that's perfectly fine. So I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Glad we satisfied your thoughts. All right. No other cards to speak?
No, sir.
You're the only one left back in the back. You don't want to speak? I'm sorry, I'm picking on you. All right, we'll close the public hearing at this time. To the board, are there any further questions of staff?
If I
Yes.
have one, Mr. Chairman, just if we give this 5-foot variance, what's going to happen is, you know, you can actually, it could be part of the public utility easement. You know, especially if they have that property to the east, and you have 5 feet offset, then you know they can push that property further east to the 5 feet, which becomes right in the middle of the public utility easement. So we need to take a look at that and maybe just to amend the language. If that's where they want to put it, it's fine. But it needs, the language for the variance need to change.
I don't agree with you, Sid. The public utility easement is recorded, and it will stay that way unless somebody requests a specific change to it.
Yeah, the one thing though we need to do is just say, you know, in addition, like if you approve the variance or you make a motion to approve the variance, make sure it's outside the 5-foot public utility easement.
Or as presented on the plat?
As presented.
As presented.
Right.
How
I
about
was
that?
looking at page 35. It looks like maybe it goes right to the easement.
It goes to it, yes.
It doesn't look, I don't think it's crossing over.
Not on the expanded version, no.
No, you're right. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't go closer, but the language itself, you know, if somebody doesn't look at this drawing and then actually says, okay, it's 5 feet, then they can bring it a little bit closer and then it becomes part of the public
Well,
utility.
I don't think that's our problem though. If we grant the variance for the 5 feet, then the applicant, the builder, and the city planners and whomever else, I think that would be their obligation to read and apply it properly.
I think anything saying along the lines of as presented on the application or the illustration should work.
Very good. Any other comments or questions? All right. And then I will request that a motion be made, please. Member Willis?
I would like to move the question to, make the motion to approve variance 11-2021, 3350 Garden Street. Variance to LDR 32-9, allowing less than 5 foot setback, as presented in the application, which would actually wind up being 5 feet.
Right, at minimum,
Setback.
I think you meant to say 10 feet in the initial statement. So less than the 10-foot setback.
Less than the 10-foot setback, that's correct.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second, please?
I'll second the motion.
Very good. May we have roll call, please?
Member Smith Rodriguez,
Yes.
Member Van Deven,
Yes.
Member Wheelis,
Yes,
Chairman Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Shahab.
Yes.
Very good. So it has been approved. All right. Okay, staff. Our public left, so I don't guess we'll get any comments since my gentlemen don't want to speak in the back. Do we have any reports from you to present to us tonight? Do we have anything coming up for next month on the books?
No reports. No variances at the moment.
May get July off then. All right. Counselor, have anything to enlighten us with?
I have a pop quiz.
Oh, boy.
Did anybody watch the planning and zoning final minutes? Because if you did, you would have seen the pop quiz and then know exactly what it is going to be that I'm about to ask you. Who's going to the 4th of July celebration that the city is hosting? Do you know where it is?
I will be in the area. I can't say I'm going to be all the way.
Quiz. That's the quiz. I just want to make sure everybody knows that the 4th of July is being held at Shane Lakes this year.
Thank you.
All right. Members, anything to add? No. Very good. And I have nothing more to say. And so at this point, we'll just call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
And other children feel uncomfortable. Could a child take out a prayer rug and start using the prayer rug? And would the other children feel uncomfortable?